Good afternoon to one and all present here. Welcome to third day, fifth session of Virtual Faculty Development Program on Promising Success through Inclusive Development, organized by Postgraduate and Research Department of Mathematics, DG Vaishnav College, Chennai. Let us start the session by remembering God and the prayer.
நீராறும் கடலொடுத்த நிலமடந்து எழிலொழுகும் சீராரும் வதனமென திகழ்வரத கண்டமிழே எக்கணமும் அதிசிறந்த திராவிடனல் திருநாடும் தக்க சிறு பிறை முதலும் தரித்தனரும் திலகமுமே அத்திலக வாசனை போல் அனைத்துலகும் இன்பமுற எத்திசையும் புகழ் மணக்க இருந்த பெரும் தமிழனங்கே தமிழனங்கே உன் சீரிழமை திறம் மிகுந்து செயல் மறந்து வாழ்த்துதுமே வாழ்த்துதுமே வாழ்த்துதுமே. நீராறும் கடலொடு
त्रिसत्यं सत्यस्य योनिं निहितं च सत्ये सत्यस्य सत्यं ऋतसत्यनेत्रं सत्यात्मकं त्वां शरणं प्रपन्नाः वाणी गुणानुकथने श्रवणो कथायां हस्तौ च कर्मसु मनस्तव पादयोर्नः स्मृत्यां शिरस्तव निवास जगत्प्रणामे दृष्टिस्ततां दर्शनेस्तु भवत्तनूनाम् नमो भगवते तस्मै कृष्णायाद्भुतकर्मणे रूपनाम विभेदेन जगत्क्रीडति यो यतः ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः.
On behalf of Postgraduate and Research Department of Mathematics, I would like to express my sincere thanks to our Secretary, Shri Ashok Kumar Mundraji, DG Vaishnav College, and Dr. S. Santosh Babu, Principal of DG Vaishnav College, for the continuous support and encouragement in conducting this virtual faculty development program. I welcome all teaching faculties, research scholars, and students from all over India present in today's session. I am profusely overjoyed to take opportunity to introduce the speaker of the day, Ms. Rohini Chandramouli, on the topic Spiritual Reengineering, a freelance trainer and consultant of language skills, soft skills, career skills, including group discussion and personal interviews. She is professional trainer and coaches at various levels, including corporates, schools, and colleges. She is skilled in ESL, public speaking, and trainer with Cambridge University. Ms. Rovani Chandramouli has more than 35 years of experience in teaching and training field and has served as a communication skill faculty member with various engineering and management colleges affiliated to Mumbai University. Ma'am, I request you to share your thoughts on spiritual re-engineering through this faculty development program.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I humbly bow down to the pantheon of gurus of Bharatavarsha who have guided humanity right from the dawn of civilization. I thank the management of DGV Arts and Science College and the organizers and Professor Venkatramanan in particular for this initiative on promising success through inclusive development, a 7-day national level virtual FDP. At the outset, let me confess something. This is my first virtual session and I'm a totally people person, happily conducting face-to-face sessions. Usually it's very interactive sessions, but today I refrain from PPT, movie, video clips because I trust Murphy. If things will go wrong, they will, because machines can fail and so many things will happen, but I'm not taking any chances. My salutations to all of you present here, and I salute you for choosing this noble profession. Congratulations. We belong to a noble profession. We have hundreds of aspiring minds under our care who look up to us. Maybe we are role models for them. So is this just like any other 9-to-5 job, a chore, a routine? What is it that differentiates us, will differentiate us, sorry, from the moron who sits in cubicle number 9, pounding on his computer, living in a virtual world? Humanity is at crossroads. We are experiencing the need for an ideal that can give us a consistent motivation for self-sacrificing and dynamic action. It is natural for people, especially the youth, to get drawn to the ugly defects that they find in the world all around. It is necessary to channelize these minds and to bring out their avalanche of power, strength, energy, vitality, thought, and action so that they can escape from entombing dejections, shattering confusions, nameless restlessness, impossible aspirations, suffocating despairs, and utter disillusionment, even the self-deluding sense of materialism in life. And of course, there are a number of triggers. All TV series, my favorite is Crime Patrol, sensational news, social media, all seem to highlight the seamy side of humanity. Everyone seems to be a scamster, a schemer, a fraudster, a murderer, and whatnot. In the very midst of confusing situations, how to train the mind and intellect to evaluate and judge explosive conditions, threatening challenges, and suffocating situations. Let me quote Tagore: where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls, where words come out from the depth of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit, where the mind is led forward by thee, the inner voice of truth. into ever-widening thought and action. With that heaven of freedom, I father my country awake. Even after so many years of freedom, do we have a solution, a blueprint for this? I feel like saying with the poet Wordsworth, much it grieved my heart to think what man has made of man. Of course, this was written in the context of the French Revolution. Revolutions come and go, people change, everything is happening, but we remain what we are, where we are. Has something gone wrong terribly somewhere? The situation depicted in the ancient myth of the Samudra Manthanam, churning of the ocean, is it being replicated by modern man in real life, in modern world, with the blessings and curses of science? Everywhere, people are fed up due to the general tension and unhappiness. There must be some change. The sooner, the better. Let us help ourselves and our children, students, to search for remedies in the rich and luminous spiritual and philosophical heritage of humanity. Let education be the change for the all-round development of the body, mind, and soul. Swami Vivekananda. And of course, it also talks of Paravidya and Aparavidya, education at the lower level or for the daily living, and the higher level. As teachers and educationists, let us be the change that we want to happen. Let us imbibe the lofty ideals of the Gurukula system of ancient India, the lofty thoughts and ethics. Watchwords like Vasudeva Kudumbakam. Of course, we are talking of globalization, Athithi Devo Bhava, to name a few. The respect for elders, touching their feet, and of course, we greet people with a hi or a hello. We don't even, mean anything by it. But thanks to COVID, all have started saying Namaskaram. What a lovely way to greet people. And of course, the way we celebrate birthdays, the list is endless. We have our emojis and text language, instant gratification, and we remain as bewildered as Alice in Wonderland, confused, not knowing which way to go. We are reaching a stage where children will soon forget even language. And let's understand that science and spirituality are not contradictory, but complementary. And according to Einstein, science without religion is lame, and religion without science is blind. The debate continues. Let's understand the meaning of a few words to reorient ourselves and strive for human excellence. For we are not the below average or mediocre people. We are better than the best. Now, the words. Let me first take the word spirit. What are the various meanings that comes to your mind? Of course, spirit is alcohol, and we are very fond of alcohol everywhere and anywhere for anything and everything. Even I'm told festivals are celebrated by drinking. Kerala has a record sale of some crores worth of liquor during the Onam celebration during COVID, mind you. But spirit has so many meanings. Let me share a few. Spirit refers to the feelings, the character, that part of a person that includes their mind, feelings, and character, rather than their physical body. The power of the human spirit to overcome difficulties, various usages. It also means a person's state of mind, to be in high or low spirits. We say, keep your spirits up. We hear people say, my spirit sank at the prospect of starting all over again. Students, teachers return assignments after assignments, writing rewrite. Yeah, and let us obey the spirit not the letter, obey the spirit of the law. We speak of community spirit and team spirit. We also say they took away his freedom and broke his spirit. And spiritual, the word spiritual is connected with the human spirit rather than the body or physical things. And when we talk about his spiritual experience, it is a lack of spiritual values in the modern world. And of course, spiritual can be connected with a religion, a leader, or an uplifting book. And of course, a religion. By religion, I mean a code of conduct, a universal code of conduct, not any particular sect or group. And spiritual or spirituality is how you would apply that code of conduct to our own lives. And our spiritual home is the place where we are the happiest, especially in a country where you feel you belong more than your own country, because you share the ideas and attitudes of the people who live there. Now let's take the word engineer. Engineer is from the Latin ingeniare, which means to create, contrive, devise, generate, realize, invent, design, analyze, build, test, etc., etc. The thesaurus lists 64 different synonyms for the word engineer. And re-engineer or re-engineering is the fundamental rethinking and redesign of business processes to achieve dramatic improvements in critical contemporary measures of performance, such as cost, quality, service, and speed. And of course, this is applicable to the spirit as well, not to business alone. So now let's take up spiritual re-engineering. I'm indebted to this article in the Journal of Psychology and Cognition, March 24, 2017, article by Santa Mishra, and input among others by Sajiv Nair, SSS College for Women, Bhubaneswar. Of course, I have used the term re-engineering for a lot of activities or work in the institutions where I have worked. So re-engineering of the thought process. From the Vedic and pre-Vedic period, even from time immemorial, thought process regulation is being highlighted and implemented by the saints and rishis for the well-being of the people. As we know, early man looked at the forces of nature and wondered what they were. Though scared at first, they tried to understand it: the sun, rain, thunder, earth, fire, etc. An early theory of language acquisition says they ding-donged phonetically, taking up the sights and sounds of nature. All this was part of the growing thought process. The then ongoing process, have now reached the step of thought process re-engineering, which is just an avenue to recycle the concept of regulating one's thought process. The very concept of TPR has emerged, combining the science of spirituality with a base of quantum physics and a neuroscientific exploration. According to Sajiv Nair, the process is being worked out in 7 stages like be conscious, pause, replay, ask, explore, retrieve, and then play. The TPR research module has so many more levels and modules, which is not the focus of this discussion. A lot of research is being done worldwide. TPR is regulating and managing the mindset we have. And we need mind conditioning more than anything else in the world. Not the external air conditioning or the external conditioning, but we need mind conditioning. For example, if we have good thought, it leads to good action. That leads to good character. Then it leads to good behavior. Then good display, by which we have a good life, and it revolves in a circular manner. But if we have a bad thought, it leads to all bad mentality, bad action, bad character, bad behavior, bad display, ultimately leads to bad life. And when repeating it again and again, we will get only bad and bad results. It is there practically everywhere. Addictions, alcohol, drugs, substance abuse, spiraling crime rate in the country, the spate of suicides recently, even the safety level we had in our country, or even a decade ago, has drastically declined. Over the years, for many generations of students, my advice always has been good in, good out, bad in, bad out. It seems even our thought process can be technically managed. In this era of technology, TPR helps in building character too. Spirituality is the knowledge relating to the management of human life, relating to the physical and metaphysical world, to determine the existence and identity of one's own self. It refers to the deepest values and meanings by which people live. The seers and rishis spent years in search of this meaning. It embraces the idea of an ultimate reality. It envisions an inner path, enabling a person to discover the essence of his or her being. It aims at the merge of petty self with universal life. Our thoughts lead to words, actions, habits, behavior, character, and our destiny. Hence, to change the destiny, we need to re-engineer our thoughts. It is the mind. Whatever you think, you will be. If you think you are weak, weak you will be. If you think you are strong, strong you will be. We can program our brain to achieve what we want. Rediscover a new you. Realize, re-engineer, and recreate. In a nutshell, our life is the perfect mirror of our thoughts, beliefs, and dominant mental attitude. Whether we realize it or not, we are already creating our reality through our thought power. To gain access to the greatest creative power at our disposal, we must learn to control the nature of our habitual thoughts. By analyzing, knowing, internalizing, and applying this truth, we can transform our life in a miraculous way. This transformation, re-engineering, is necessary for us as educators individually and for those under our care, and at the institutional level as well. And of course, lives of great men all remind us we can make our lives sublime, and departing, leave behind us footprints on the sands of time. We are indeed blessed to be born in India and be blessed by the masters, be it Adi Shankara or Kanchi Periyar or Ramana Maharshi, Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, Swami Vivekananda, Swami Chinmayananda, Mata Amritandamayi Devi, Shirdi Baba, Guru Nanak Dev, and the great human beings like Mother Teresa, J.R.D. Tata, and of course our beloved President Abdul Kalam. The list is endless. Though this presentation brought up a lot of negative issues of modern times, all is not lost. As long as we have all these great people and their teachings and their disciples doing exemplary work, there will be positivity and prosperity always. Unfortunately, only the negatives get highlighted. The good, The transformation that thousands of people are doing is hidden from the public view. Now, a few points to ponder upon to leave behind our footprints on the sands of time. Don't live life mechanically, else we will end up like the priest in this story. This priest was rendering a lot of good service to his people and the parish. His fame spread. The higher-ups decided to honor him and gifted him a spiritual horse. It understood commands like Hallelujah, which means it will stop, and oh God, command for it to move forward. The priest was very happy and went riding till he reached the edge of a cliff. The sheer beauty of the landscape attracted him, and he said, "Oh God." You can imagine what happened next. We live life on the autopilot mode. We do all actions unconsciously and mechanically. We are never in the present, which is what we have. For yesterday, the past is a cancelled check, and tomorrow is a promissory note, the future. Another point, practice forgiveness. Learn to forgive people who have harmed you. Unburden your heart by forgiving them. Mentally visualize offering a rose to that person and say, "I forgive you." It does not necessarily excuse their behavior. You're doing it for yourself. It is a healing process, a way of resolution. And now, use technology only when it is absolutely necessary. Wherever we go, maybe the airports, trains, bus stands, or even families, we see people are buried in their gadgets. They are not living in the present moment. Most of these people are tensed and not relaxed at all. We let the inert devices use us, control us, and this is dangerous. For reality of our existence lies in our surroundings, not with these things. You become alive only when you establish contact with people and live life with family, with surroundings, with nature, and above all, God. Never be an addict to technology, else it will increase your blood pressure, cholesterol level, affecting health, intellect, memory power, and emotional maturity. And Jai Ho, artificial intelligence. And to think of the great people, Sir M. Vishweswaraya, the greatest engineer of India, Sir C.V. Raman, Ramanujam, Mahatma Gandhi, the astrologers, astrological calculations, Bhaskaracharya, Aryabhatta, and of course, Sri Deshikar, who was the topic of one of yesterday's speech. Einstein, Newton, and so many more did not even know what a calculator or computer or a phone was. Greatness does not depend on technology. And now students need a calculator for everything, even to find out 10 into 5. And of course, the 7 wonders of the world were created. Do you think the artists and the artisans who built the pyramids or the Taj Mahal or any of those wonders ever saw a computer or ever calculated anything using a calculator or a mobile or anything? It's wonderful human excellence. And of course, the other 7 wonders, which we all forget: to see, to feel, to touch, to smell, to love, to listen, and to smile. My next point is, try to create a shift in your attitude, in our attitude. Any action will become burdensome if we do it as a chore. or consider it as work. Even all these FDP sessions will be a burden. Don't lose your enthusiasm. Otherwise, you become irritable, angry, and life will become dry. How can you ever hope to teach, guide students if you yourself are irritable or angry or don't have any enthusiasm? We carry out work thoughts and worries and frustrations home, and everything is spoiled. Love your work or find one you can. Next, remind yourself that you are not alone. Excess use of WhatsApp, Facebook, etc. is because we feel alone, losing something if not in touch. We can't let the phones out of our sight, and we feel lonely alone when other people are not present. But the fact is, the whole creation is with me. For example, a light bulb or a fan, even when it is switched off, it is connected to electricity. It is never far away from it. Similarly, 24/7, we are connected to the divine. We seem to have switched off our own Wi-Fi connection. Yeah, of course, I quote this from the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10. You are not alone. Happiness is a decision. I will be happy come what may. I'm not alone. God is with me. Of course, we cannot control every single aspect of our life, but we can control how we react to things that can happen. Some people will oppose, criticize, even ridicule. Yesterday, Acharyaji was mentioning about Deshikar, who was presented with a garland of chappals. We have the story of Sri Eknath, a saint from Maharashtra, who had this experience of a person spitting on him 108 times. Without a word, without a whimper, he went back to the river and took bath 108 times. Each work has 3 stages: ridicule, opposition, and then acceptance. Remain calm and firm in your faith and belief. Remember, this too shall pass. And as Acharyaji said yesterday, 90% of our problems is because we think what others feel. Log kya kahenge? Bhaad mein gaya log. It is not their problem, it is ours. It is what we do. It is what we want to achieve. It is what we want to change. I come to meditation. Meditate. Meditate every morning, every day, even before you come out of the bed, sit and meditate. Or you can meditate at a time you choose. It need not be a very elaborate process. It could be just a chanting, could be just chanting a prayer, a mantra, which you repeat some number of times. It could even be as simple as concentrating on your breath, concentrating on each inhalation and exhalation. Yoga will help. To add to this list, find a me time. Pursue a hobby, come out of your subject, your domain, enjoy the sights and sounds of nature. Read a lot. Not the Kindle version, please, if you can help it. We have a rich literature, spiritual and otherwise, and it will be a tragedy if in our lifetime we do not read. And I would bring to your notice this poem, If, by Rudyard Kipling. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, when you can trust yourself when men doubt you, if you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good, not to talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim. Rudyard Kipling goes on. I would advise you to please read that poem. Even a smile, a genuine one, a kind word, or a helping hand, or even to just listen to the others, more so students, because they can go a long way in helping them. All are meditation. Our lives will be enriched if we can be compassionate, the hallmark of all great people, and have faith in ourselves. Faith in all the 333 millions of gods, and no faith in ourselves will never help us achieve anything. And add to this patience, shraddha, and focus. And learn to take failure in your stride. It is not the end of everything. As Abdul Kalam has said very rightly, it is the next opportunity. It is not the end, but the opening of a next opportunity for us to try something different, something new. Remember, wherever you are, however great you become, have the mindset of a beginner. Then you can never be arrogant. You can never be egoistic because you know too much. You have studied all the scriptures, you have studied all the Vedas, you have studied everything. But then that is not the hallmark of a great mind. Be humble always. Arise, awake, and manifest the divinity within. For as Swami Vivekananda has said, education is the manifestation of the perfection already in man. I am highly indebted to the various spiritual masters whose ideas I have incorporated and quoted. Let me conclude. Lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness to light. Lead us from death to immortality. Peace, peace, peace. Om Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Sorry, I'm very sorry. Tamasoma Asatoma Sadgamaya, sorry. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti, Shanti. Let the gods, the gurus, all the people above us, the elders, bless us so that we as teachers can carry this process of re-engineering, spiritual re-engineering forward. Understand spiritual re-engineering at two levels. One at the realm of technology, quantum physics, and NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and at our level as teachers and educators. What can we do? Because even if one student at the end of the day has changed, our life or our mission is accomplished. And we get to know this years later when a student somewhere, they send you a mail saying, "Thank you, ma'am, for those words of yours, which has changed my life." Of course, it is the experience of almost all the teachers present who are listening or otherwise. That is what we are here for, to re-engineer, to rechange, reconstruct the world, especially the youth, because the youth is our tomorrow. All the very best. May God bless all of you. Goodbye.
It's true, ma'am. Spirituality is a religious process of reformation, which aims to recover the original shape of man. On behalf of PG and Research Department of Mathematics, I would like to thank Ms. Ravi Chandramouli to honor this function with her inspirational thoughts. I would like to thank our Secretary, Shri Ashok Mundraji, Principal Dr. S. Santosh Babu, staff members, and our beloved HOD, Professor R. Venkataraman, for his complete support to conduct this program successfully. I take this opportunity to thank all the participants from various institutions for their active participation in this faculty development program. Next session with Dr. S. Kaliraja, Deputy L&T, Institute of Project Management, L&T Limited, Chennai. Topic on clarity in decision making leading to success at 3:30 p.m. Thank you.
Sir, good afternoon, sir. Sorry.
Okay. Sir, good afternoon, sir. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Sir, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, sir. So you are most welcome to our
Good afternoon.
program, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank
Audible,
you.
sir.
Thank you. Am I audible? No?
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
thank you.
You are audible, and you are most welcome to our program for this faculty development on
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
promising success through inclusive development, sir. So actually, we will start the session by 3:30, sir.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay. With a brief introduction about you.
No problem.
So
No problem.
our team
Sure.
members will take care, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Sure. Should we test the sharing? Should we test the sharing? Sharing of presentation?
Okay, sir. Just you share your screen, sir. We can check, sir.
Able to
Okay, sir.
see?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Full screen is coming or?
No, sir.
Now?
Yes, sir. Now fine, sir.
Is it full screen now?
Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Full screen, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Fine. Okay, 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 sir.
Thank you.
Sir.
Thank you.
Jai Shri Krishna. Good afternoon to everyone. I warmly welcome you all for the third day faculty development program on promising success through inclusive development. For today's session, we have our speaker with us, Dr. S. Kalirajan. I welcome you, sir. Dr. S. Kalirajan doesn't need a special introduction because his profile speaks a lot about him. He is currently working as Deputy Dean, L&T Institute of Project Management, L&T Limited, Chennai. He completed his BE from University of Madras and MTech and PhD from Anna University. He also completed PG DBA, DFM, MBA, PMP. He is a member of several professional societies such as IEI, PMI USA, ICI, to name a few. His expertise in project management, contract management, strategic planning, construction technology. He has more than 5 years of experience in L&T. Previously, he was associated with NPCIL for more than 26 years. He has also received several awards to his credentials. Today, he is going to talk about clarity in decision making leading to success. I hand over the session to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Am I audible?
Yes, audible, sir. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very
Sir,
much.
you can share your screen, sir. You are audible.
Sure.
You are audible. Please share your screen, sir.
I hope it is visible now.
Wait, sir, 1 minute. Yes, yes, sir.
Okay.
Your screen is visible, sir. You are audible as well
Okay,
as
thank
your
you.
screen is visible.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. My heartfelt thanks to the management of this college, and this is my privilege to discuss on this topic to the August gathering now. I'm from engineering background and project management background, and talking on clarity in decision making to the faculty members is a new experience for me. Nevertheless, the topic which we are going to discuss now is common for everyone. Whether you are a faculty, or you are a professional, or you are a parent, or a student. So this is a common topic for everyone. Every day and every moment, we are all involved in taking one or the other decision. Whether to get up early in the morning, or go to bed late in the evening, or early to bed, to catch a bus or to catch a train, or take a particular route to the college or a different route to the college. Every now and then we take decisions. And how clear are we in our decisions? That's what we are going to discuss. And as long as we are very clear on our decisions, that will lead us to a success in whatever we want to do it. So let me get into the slides. What do we see on the screen? We see a black screen on your left and a white dot. And on your right, we see a white screen and a black color dot. Now, suddenly, if you look at these screens, our eyes goes at the dots only. Nobody concentrates on the peripheral colors, whether it is black or white. We are all focused on the dot. So when one dot is there, our eyes are focusing on that one dot. What happens in this situation? When there are more number of targets, when there are more number of goals or more number of options available with us for a particular decision, our mind wavers around here and there. Whether we go here or one route, another route, which path to select, which one option is my decision, which is my goal, which is my target, what is my aim. So all these things are really confusing, right? So that is where the clarity is required in the decision making process. When we talk about clarity, most of the cases, days when you used to handle cameras, we used to have SLR cameras, DSLR cameras, where you need to have a focusing. And today, of course, we don't do any focusing. The machine itself does the focusing as an autofocus. So we have given that job of focusing also to the machine, okay, when we are taking photograph. And similarly, in our thinking also, the focusing on a particular thing, that is going to be handed over to machines in the later part of our journey. But as of today, we are practicing focusing on certain things when we are doing the job. But on what we are focusing? Are we focusing just like that anywhere and everywhere? When we are going to take a photograph, we know what we are going to capture. Whether we are going to capture a scenery, or we are going to capture a person, or we are going to capture a particular event. We know what are we going to capture. When we know what are we going to capture, that is what is clarity is all about. And once we fix the target, this is what we are going to capture, then we focus our camera, focus our lens, so that we are able to capture it properly and correctly and beautifully. If the focus is out, probably whatever target we were aiming at, that may not be captured properly. So that is where the clarity and focus goes hand in hand. But focus comes only when we fix up the target. When we fix up the target, then the focus starts. So the focus is subsequent event after fixing the target. What happens in our life? Let us just think of our childhood. When we were all born, we were all fearless. If somebody has told us to do something, probably I can do it. Why can't I? That could be the possibility for a child. Never ever fearing about anything. If you ask a child to jump from a chair, the child will jump. If you ask the child to run, it will start running, it will start walking, it will start crawling. It doesn't bother about anything, falling down or touching something which is harmful, because it doesn't know. When you start knowing more and more things, the fear psychosis starts coming. We start fearing about everything. What will happen then? What will happen this way? What will happen that way? And this goes developing day by day when we start going to the school. Till the time we go to the school, the child is growing at home. It has got all the liberty and all the care from the parents and the co-bonds, maybe the brothers and sisters, or anybody coming home. Everybody takes the child and they pamper it. But once we start going to the school, what happens is there is a comparison taking place. This child is doing well, this child is not doing well, this child is good at this child is not good at this. There's a comparison taking place. Slowly, when the child comes to 10th standard or 11th standard or 12th standard, the mind is so much spoiled. In such a way that if you ask any student at the level of 9th standard or 10th standard, what do you want to become? They are totally confused. Because up to the 10 years of education, he has been totally targeted on his negative side. The child doesn't know what he wants to achieve in his life. What is his aim? Maybe at the level of first standard, second standard, if you ask a child, what do you want to become? They would have said, I want to become a collector, I want to become an engineer, I want to become a doctor. There'll be some answer. But if you ask the same question when the child comes to 9th standard or 10th standard, the clarity is gone, because they are loaded with a lot of negativity. They are loaded with a lot of comparison. And these comparisons really creates a lot of confusion in their mind. When they are confused in their mind, what to do, how to do, where to go, there is no answer. And we further, goes on from 11th standard, 12th standard, and then at the end of 12th standard, the people are, stranded on the road. And we, the faculty members, we are supposed to guide them properly at the right time. And in this journey, if I recall, most of the parent-teachers meeting in the schools, what happens is, even in the colleges, when you call the parents for some kind of discussions, we always point out the negative aspect of the student. If the student is naughty, he'll be told that your boy is naughty. If the student is very silent, he will be told, your son is not opening his mouth at all. So if you're talking also is a problem, not talking also is a problem. But what is good then? Whether talking is good or not talking is good. So the positive side of the students are never nurtured in our educational system. So always the negative side is targeted. Always the negative side is focused, both by parents as well as by the teachers, as well as by the society. The society looks at your neighbor is going to IIT. Why are you not able to go? Your neighbor is scoring 100% marks in mathematics. Why are you not able to score? So there is a comparison in everything, and it starts with the studies, and slowly it goes into various areas. Maybe some of the students may be very good in sports, but because of their pressure from the society, or parental pressure or a peer pressure, they may not be able to create a career in sports. So the point here is, where should we focus? In terms of a career growth, in terms of a career planning, or in terms of our life goal, where should we focus? If I'm good at something, if somebody is going to tell me, yes, you're good at this thing, why don't you work on this particular strength? Then probably I'll be very happy to work on that strength and then develop a life goal. If Sachin Tendulkar was told to go for a school and become an IIT engineer, today we would not have seen a Sachin Tendulkar with us. If A.R. Rahman was told, no, music is not your career, you should only look for studies and you should become a doctor, probably we would have lost a great musician today. So there are people who have made career out of their strength. And when they select a career out of their strength, then it becomes their life, and their life becomes successful. So we all look at to achieve or to reach a pinnacle in our career and in our life. So probably we see a lot of small peaks in between before we reach the topmost pinnacle. And to aim at the topmost pinnacle, we don't look at the topmost pinnacle at the first instance. Everything is looked at in between. There is a small peak in between. There is a small peak in between. In the sense, when I'm in 10th standard, I'm told, okay, you should become an engineer. But what do I do after becoming an engineer? Should I start a company? Should I go to a job? Should I work for others, or should I work for myself? What should I do? And what role I am good at? If you take any job, you go to any kind of engineering or any kind of profession, there are different roles to play. There are people who are interested only in designing. There are people who can only do planning. There are people who can play with people, mobilize the people, get the work done through the people, who are a very good team player. So the person who is totally focused on calculations and analytics, if you put them in a role of managing a team of people and get the work done, they'll fail. So what role we want to give to the people? So without identifying where am I good at, the career is being imposed on us. Being a faculty member, we are supposed to identify the strength of all our students and then suggest them the role at which they can be successful in the future. So looking at the topmost pinnacle is always important. And any accomplishment starts with a decision to try. So everything, as I told in the beginning, we start taking decisions, and based on the decision, we try to execute the decision to accomplish something. But this accomplishment is nothing but a goal, which can be a long-term goal or a short-term goal. So what happens in life generally is we look at small pinnacles, a short-term goal only, not a long-term goal. But what happens after reaching the top of the goal? I thought I should become an engineer. That was the goal when I was in a 9th standard or 10th standard. Okay, I have become an engineer. Then what else? After engineering, what else? Where am I? I should search for the job. I should roam around, looking for a job. So in the growth of my career, the growth of my life, I go to some pinnacle, which was my short-term goal, and I suddenly fall down because I didn't know in the beginning what should I do. So it takes time for us to come back again, get up. We fall down, we get up, and then again look for the next goal. Can life go like that? Every time, every 2 years, every 3 years, can I have a different goal? And every goal I have to upskill or reskill myself. Because as of today, if you look at the technological growth is very, very fast. The one technology which is prevalent today is obsolete after 3 years or 4 years time. For example, if you take IT career, the life of IT people is tragic. In the sense, today they must be working on some system or some software or some coding language. After 4 years, it becomes obsolete. So unless they learn the new thing, they will not be able to sustain in the market. So that is the kind of environment. One side, I myself don't know what I'm supposed to do. What is my strength? The second side is my educational system does not identify my strength. Instead, the educational system identifies where I'm faulty, where I'm not strong, where I'm weak. And the educational system forces me, because I have to score marks, even in a subject where I'm weak, I have to score marks. And system forces me to put more time on the weakness area rather than spending more time on my strength. And when I become a graduate or when I go to the college, again, the entire scenario is changing. The new environment and new societal pressure, new technological pressure, which I am not used to. So the life comes down. Instead of flying high at the time of schooling, I would have thought of flying high after completing IIT or after completing MBBS. I would have thought of flying high. But the actual life situation is different. After completing your graduation or a post-graduation or in any college studies, your life comes down. And again, you have to find out how to climb up. Is this the way we can grow? Is this the way somebody's life can be? Is this the way somebody's career can be? Let us ask few questions to ourselves. How do we identify what is good for us? Suppose if you analyze yourself, what do you enjoy doing? You take your 24 hours morning to evening. What is that one activity which you enjoy doing? Maybe somebody may be enjoying only sleeping, but leave apart sleeping. Other than sleeping, what do you enjoy doing? And what comes easier to you than the most? You must be doing so many things in a day. Which one is very easy for you to execute? And what gets you best results compared to others? As I told you, somebody may be good at analytical, somebody may be good at logical, somebody may be good at creative. A creative person, if you're going to put him and lock him in an analytical kind of job, he cannot produce best results. But if you put him in a creative job, certainly he will be able to produce a best result. So what gets you best results? Let us just ask these questions to us. Similarly, we should also ask, what do you hate doing? Certain things, maybe in the college or in the school or in the work spot, certain activities, you must be very much, hating it, but still you are supposed to do it because you are part of the, job. So you are supposed to perform. So some of the jobs you may be hating to do. And what do you always end up putting off? Suppose a job, if you're taking up, suppose a person or a student is a very creative person, and if he's very good in sketching, I know some of the people, if they take up one drawing, they go into the room and lock the room and finish it off and then only come out. But the same person, if you ask him to study for 1 hour, he cannot. Within 15 minutes, he'll close the book and come out, and then after 5 minutes or 10 minutes break only, he'll go back. So the procrastination happens when you're asked to do which you don't want to do, which you hate to do. What takes you longer to do than it takes other people? Suppose one student is able to read a chapter in 1 hour and another student is taking 3 hours time. That means he is taking 3 hours longer duration than the other student. So the teacher or the faculty or the parent will say that that student is studying well and you are not studying well. But at the same time, the person who is taking 3 hours to read a chapter, if you give him a drawing or if you give him a creative work, he may be able to complete in half an hour, which the other student may take 4 hours. But there is no mechanism to test in our system, because our educational system is based on only how many marks we are scoring. But to understand our capability to decide what target I should fix for my life and what goal I should achieve in my life, certainly we need to ask these questions. Where I am good at, where I'm not good at least this analysis each one of us are required to do. And when we start doing this, probably there'll be certain activities where we find pleasure of doing, and certain activities we don't find pleasure. And certain activities gives really, emotionally attached and activate your emotions, activate your energy. And certain activities, if it is given to you, you lose all your energy. Okay, still you will have to do it because it's necessary to complete. A person who is very good in maths, if a very difficult problem is given to him, he'll be energetic and excited to solve it. But to the same person, when he is not good at social science, if you ask him to study something and present regarding history or geography, he'll be totally down in the energy level. The vice versa is also true. Some students who is very good in history, geography, social sciences, civics, if you give him a difficult mathematical problem, he will just come down in his energy level. But at the same time, if you ask him, certain questions about, civics or politics, if you ask him to talk on politics, he'll be really excited to talk. So where are the strengths lying in the student's mind? What is the capability of each of the students who are, studying under us? As a faculty member, and we are really, really indebted to the students to identify their strength and suggest the career path for them. That is what, I'm going to cover it now. So when you talk about goals, it is true for all of us, even though we are faculty members, grown-up members of the society, it's true for all of us. We have different goals in our life. We have, something related to buying a house or constructing a house, first house, second house, whatever it is. But there is a residential property every one of us want to buy, because we feel that is one of the major security in the life. Okay. The second major goal is having some wealth created. It can be in a bank balance, it can be a fixed deposit, it can be a stock market or anything, a wealth creation. There is a property, there is a cash or wealth creation, there is a goal. And third one now is health. The health is all the more important. Every one of us have to have a goal for maintaining our health, because medically everyone is immune today, and we need to have certain kind of goal and what kind of life we want to live. Whether we want to live up to 60 years or 80 years or 100 years, it depends on our health status and what goal we are going to have for our health. And another major goal is our family goal. Every one of us will have a family. We have to build up some money for studies of our education for our children, or our post-retirement life expenses, so many things are there. So the family expenses or family goals are also there. So it is not that all of us will have only a single goal. We will have many goals. And some of the goals are long-term goals. And some of the goals are short-term goals. So what happens, suppose, if I have to fly from, I have to take a flight from Chennai to Mumbai to attend a meeting, for example. It is a short-term goal, obviously, because I have to travel today means I know that at 6 o'clock I have to catch a flight from Chennai airport. But if to catch a flight at 6 o'clock, if I reach the airport at 6 o'clock, can I catch the flight? Certainly not. Pretty well knowing the fact that I need to report 40 minutes before. That means at the latest by 5:20, I should be there in the airport, checked in. Then only I'll be able to board my flight at 6 o'clock. So if I have to board my flight, check in at 5:20, if I'm staying in a place which is 20 kilometers away from the airport, I should also plan on what mode I should travel to the airport, at what time I should start. So each and every decision which I'm going to take should ensure that I reach the airport by 5:20 and check in and catch the flight at 6 o'clock. Otherwise, I'm going to miss the flight and I'll be missing the meeting. So one decision which is a long-term goal for us, the long-term goal is going to be supported by various short-term goals. If I have a decision, if I take a decision of flying for 6 o'clock flight, and if I don't take a decision properly to reach the airport by 5:20, I take a different approach on reaching the airport and reach by 5:30, probably the airport authorities will not allow me to board the flight. That means I'm going to miss my target. Though my short-term goals are already fulfilled, I have taken a route, I have taken a decision to go by cab, and I have taken a route, and due to some traffic congestion, that the cab could not reach the airport in time. Whose mistake it is? Is it the mistake of the cab driver? Is it the mistake of the airport people that they are not allowing you after 5:20? Certainly not. The rules are fixed. The traffic is not in our hands. There are certain things which we can influence, and there are many things which will have an influence on us. The ones which are going to have an influence on us, we cannot really do anything. But if you fail to consider those aspects which is going to influence our decision, probably we may lose our target. So based on the issues or aspects which are going to have an influence on our decision, whether we will be able to influence what we can do. So instead of starting at 4 o'clock from my house, if I can start at 3:30 or 3:40, so I will have a cushion of time so that I can still reach the airport in time. So what I can influence here is I can start a little early. I cannot influence the cab driver's speed of driving, or I cannot influence the traffic on the route. I cannot influence the airport authority to accept me after 5:40 or 5:20. So what you can influence yourself to achieve your goal, that has to be identified. So I'm taking you through a formula, MS3P. What is MS3P? If we follow this, probably we'll have a clarity in all our decisions, which will take us to the success path. M stands for map your mind, and S stands for set your goals. First P is prioritizing your goals, and plan your actions, and perseverance. After we decide what we want to do, we need to have a perseverance on our actions. So these are the 5 major points which one has to follow in all the decisions. So what do we understand by map your mind? To have a better understanding, we need to have a clarity, certainly. So when I say clarity, C stands for clear direction, L stands for listening and reviewing, A stands for action plan, R stands for resistance, I stands for insight, T stands for testing, and Y stands for you. Okay, just have a small discussion on this. Clear direction means we should know where are we going. Okay, if we don't know where are we going, then it's very difficult to reach the spot. We catch a bus, we catch a train, we know where are we going, then only we are catching the bus or a train. We have our own car, we are taking our car from the house. Are we going to drive just like that wherever the car is going, or wherever we move the steering? It never happens. It always happens, once you take a car or your bike or board a bus or a train, we know where are we going, where are we planning to reach, what is our target location. When each and every journey which we take up has certain target, why don't we have a target for our life? Where do we want to reach? So whenever I do mentoring for students, college students, I used to ask them, don't look at what do you want to achieve immediately after the graduation. Look at where do you want to see yourself after 15 years from now? After 15 years from now, do you want to see you as a CEO of a company, or a project manager of a big project, or a business leader? Where do you want to see yourself? Don't just jump into the job market. I have completed engineering, I have completed MSc, I have completed physics, chemistry, whatever it is. So I need to get into a job and then start earning. Okay, you may get into a job, start earning today, but again your life is going to fall down because you don't have any goal, aim on a long-term path. So every one of us have to have a long-term goal, clear direction, where exactly we want to reach at the end of our life. What position we want to see ourselves. Suppose a faculty member can think of a principal of a college or a dean of a college. Maybe you may enter as a lecturer, fine. But your target, if you don't have a target of becoming a principal of a college, how will you grow? Your growth is going to be hampered. Then listen and review. That means we need to listen to ourselves. Listen to ourselves, not that what others are going to tell us. Let us listen to ourselves. Where are we coming from? In the sense, what is my background? Educational background, financial background, family background, societal background, environmental background. Am I coming from very, very affluent family, or a poor family, or a middle class family? Can I spend some money for my higher education or not? So many questions you can ask yourself. And then, depending on your review of yourself, identify your strength and focus on your strength for development. Focus on your strength as a career. Focus on your strength as your life. Then your movement will be very fast. Your growth will be very fast. Based on what you can listen from yourself, not from others, I'm repeating, based on what you can learn from yourself, listen from yourself and your own self-review, identify your strength and plan your action, what you have to do, what you have to do next. So when we are planning to do something, there'll be a lot of forces pulling us out. Suppose I'm standing here and I'm tied up with 2 rubber bands on both the sides. Each rubber band will try to pull me in its own direction, but I need to balance both. So one rubber band, if I'm yielding, another one is going to hold me. Okay, so what is coming in our way of reaching our goal? Who are all coming in our way of reaching our goal? What are the resistances I'm going to face? Like, the example which I have taken, reaching to the airport from the home, the resistances are going to be, there can be a traffic problem. There can be a vehicle problem. The cab driver may be a problem. There may be so many things. What are those resistances which are going to come in the way? Are we clear about those resistances? So when we have the goal and we have all these resistances, what is important for me? Just looking at the resistances and then getting back, or looking at my goal and moving forward? What is important for me in life? If I can fix up my priority, with a clear terms. I want to become this, that's all. Come what may. If somebody is going to come and push me out, again I will get up and then move forward. So that is the kind of spirit you will have when your goal is in your strength area. If the goal is fixed in your weaker area, probably if you find a small resistance, you will immediately start feeling that yes, I know that it's not my piece of cake, I cannot achieve this. But if it is a strength area, any kind of resistance, you will be able to throw it out and then move forward. And when you have these kind of insight about yourself, your capability, your strength, and your resistances, where from it is going to come, then do some testing on your capability. As I told you, to reach the long-term goal, we have a lot of short-term goals. We have a lot of steps to cross. So at each step, you test yourself. Are you really ready? Are you really ready to take up the challenge of achieving that goal, what you wanted to achieve? So once you are able to assess your decisions with this kind of dissection, like there is a long term, there are short term goals which I want to achieve. And in the long term also, there are so many goals. One can be a family goal, financial goal, career goal, so many things. So this is how we need to create a clarity. So how this mapping our mind is going to help us in this process to create a clarity in our decision. Mapping our mind is going to help us in a very big way. How is it going to help? And what do we mean by mapping our mind? Suppose you want to think of a goal. Just think and start drawing your whatever mind goes, just draw it. I think that there is a personal goal. In the personal goal, I may have something like sports goal, I may have some food eating goal, or health goal, or working place. I can have a career goal, or I can have a business goal, I can have a project goal. Like social, I will have my family goals. Maybe once in 2 years I want to take my family for a foreign vacation. That may be one of the goals. Once in 2 years, if I have to take my family for a foreign vacation, it is all the more important for me to plan my savings. And it is all the more important for me to plan how do I take it, which country to go, when to go. All those information has to be thought of. Okay, so mapping our mind is nothing but like a tree, branches of the tree. On one particular thought process, you just branch out, and plot everything on a piece of paper. Don't think just like that on air. Just take a piece of paper and map your mind. Your thoughts will all come on the paper. Once your thoughts are on the paper, you will be able to really appreciate where do you want to travel, what will be your goal, where do you want to fix your goal. So this is an example, small example, how a mind map can be drawn. Suppose you want to plan for a holiday, you will decide whether you want to take a flight, and if take a flight means which airport you want to go, which flight you want to take, and that flight will be smoother or harder, and whether the flight will supply you good food or not. Like that, you can think of anything related to the holiday, and you can plan, you can map all your mind thinking. And this will give you the entire picture of your thinking process about that particular goal. It can be a short-term goal, or it can be a long-term goal. Okay, so the mind mapping your mind is the first step which we have to do to identify what are the goals. Suppose going for a holiday is my long-term goal. My short-term goals is like fixing up a flight is short-term goal, fixing up the right accommodation is short-term goal, fixing up my itinerary is a short-term goal. So there are many short-term goals attached to one long-term goal. We may have many long-term goals in life. Studies and career is one. There will be so many other long-term goals. Suppose, for example, at the age of 40, somebody wants to have 10 crores of wealth. Making 10 crores today through stock market is very easy. And why one should go for studies and going for a job, or why should one go for business, maintaining a business? He can learn stock market and then trade in the stock market and make money. I know one of my friends relative, that boy was a diploma holder, studying diploma. He started 2 years back with the investment of 5,000 rupees. And today, after 2 years, he's owner of 5.4 crores, only trading. Because his target is, see, the story is that he wants to do higher studies in Stanford University. Okay, so he didn't want to disturb his parents for the money. He wanted to generate money. So he has taken, stock market as a short-term goal to make that money. The short-term goal is to make the money so that he can go to Stanford University for studies. So the long-term goal is the Stanford University, reaching to Stanford University. Probably after that, what he is going to do, that should be his goal. But anyway, let us consider that going to Stanford University was his long-term goal. For that, money becomes a resistance. Parents doesn't have money, so he is able to find a short-term goal, how he can make that money before he moves on to Stanford University. So the ways will be available. The path can be decided by you once you fix the long-term goal. If you just jump into the stock market and then say that I'm going to earn money, then I will decide whether I can go to Stanford or not, probably he would not have made 5 crores, maybe some 50,000 or 5 lakhs he would have made, because the target was only to experiment the stock market, not going to the Stanford. So mapping your mind and fixing up the long-term goal. From the long-term goal at the center of the mapping, branch out and see how many branches are coming out as a short-term goals. Now that you have decided what is your long-term goal and what are your short-term goals aligned to the long-term goals, I repeat, aligned to the long-term goals, and just keep listing it down. Just listing it down. So the second step is you are setting your goal, the list of goals, long-term goals and short-term goals. These are the decisions you are going to take. This list will give you a clarity of a long-term goal aligned to the many short-term goals. Now, the next step is prioritizing. How do we prioritize? How can you prioritize? What are
Sir, now share your screen, sir.
Is it audible now?
Yes, sir, audible, sir. Now share your screen, sir.
Okay. From which screen can you identify?
Okay, sir.
Can I start from here?
Yes, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So we have been discussing about listing out our long-term goals and listing out the short-term goals which are aligned to the long-term goals. A set of goals we will have. Now, which decision we need to make it into action first, which to be taken up next. That prioritization is all the more important in life. Okay, so what is more important and what is urgent? The action which are more important and which are more urgent in life, the goal which is to be achieved first, accomplished first, which is urgent and important, so that I can reach to the pinnacle later, that should be addressed first. So if I have 10 long-term goals, one may be buying a house, one may be earning some 10 crores rupees, or one may be reaching to senior position in the career, one may be having some good family life. All these things can be listed. And what is more important for me immediate, what is urgently required for me, that should be on the top. And what is important but not urgent today in the sense, okay, in the immediate requirement is not there, I can think of later, little bit later, maybe after a year I can take it up. So those kind of goals can be kept at a level 2. And then there can be certain goals which you feel that you need not execute, but somebody else can execute for you. For example, you are living in a family, some of the areas, some of the actions, your brother can support you, or your parents can support you, or your wife can support you. Okay, so they can help you to complete that goal. So it is not that important, but it is urgent. So you are busy in certain things, but that completion of that particular action also is very important. So somebody else can do it for you, they can help you. So that is where the delegation comes, which can be listed as a level 3. And certain goals which are not at all important and not at all urgent, which can be taken up after 5 years from now or 10 years from now, certainly you can keep it for pending and you can look at after 5 years or 10 years from now. But that has to be scheduled. You need to know after 5 years you have to take it up, otherwise you will forget about it. And if you forget about that goal after 5 years, that means you are not going to, that is not going to help you to reach out to your long-term goal. So finally, our target is to reach the long-term goal. The decision, what I'm going to take today, will lead me to accomplish my long-term goal finally. And I may have many number of long-term goals, as I told you. It can be related to my family, it can be related to my finance, it can be related to my health, it can be related to my family well-being or family growth, everything. Or it can be even related to society, my contribution to the society. So all these things are goals for me, long-term goals. That's why as a faculty member, whenever I'm mentoring some of the students, I used to ask them, let me know, where do you want to see after 15 years from now, and what do you want, where do you want to see yourself at the age of 60? At the age of 60, where do you want to see yourself? How the society should look at you, how your parents will look at you, how your relatives will look at you at the age of 60. Will they look at you as a role model for certain things? So in that case, that is your target, that is your goal. Okay, getting into a job immediately is not a goal. That is one of the smallest decisions one is going to take. But even getting the job and developing and growing in the job to achieve your long-term goal, that is what is more important for a student. So as a faculty, we need to teach them how to fix up a long-term goal and how to fix up the short-term goals and align them to the long-term goal and how to prioritize the goal. If this is done, the next level comes action. Plan your action. A goal without a plan is just a wish only. You want to build a house. Can you just call somebody and then ask them to build a house without a plan? So we are calling some planners, engineers, or we're going to certain architects and then asking them to give a plan. When a plan is going to be prepared for the target of completing your house, your goal is to complete the house, and you are going to have plan. Now, each goal is not going to have one single plan. It will have many options. Even for constructing a house, you get into many plans, many options. You ask the architect, okay, can you change this like this? Can you change like this? So finally, you want to get satisfied with the plan, what you're going to finalize. So that is true with all our decisions. There will be many options. When you take up any particular goal, that to achieve that goal, there can be many options. There can be many ways. See, like for example, the same example of reaching to the airport in time, I can have many ways. If I have my car and my driver, I can ask my car and my driver to drive me down, or I call the cab and go, or I can call the auto and go, or I can take the bus or metro train and go. So many options are there, and each option has to be evaluated. That is all the more important. How this option is going to help me in achieving my goal. If I wanted to reach the airport at 5:20, whether going by my own car with my driver will reach me at 5:20, or going by bus will take me to the airport at 5:20. So maybe the first option, I have the liberty of leaving the home at maybe at 4:30, but the second option, going by the bus, probably I may have to leave the home at 3 o'clock. So do I have that kind of time limit in my life? Which option I should take? So the planning becomes all the more important. I call it as, because being from a project management background, I call this phase as a project management phase in anybody's life. Every goal, every target is a project for the individual. If you can manage that goal, achieving that goal as an individual project, all the management concepts can be applied in terms of planning, in terms of identifying the risk, identifying the stakeholders who are going to be impacting your decision, who are going to be impacting your achievement of your goals. Everything can be analyzed, and you can have a detailed plan of how you're going to achieve your goal, in what path you are going to walk, which are the stages you're going to cross, when do you want to achieve something as a short-term goal, and what is the next step, what is the next step, and what is the interdependency of your short-term goals. Maybe one small goal, unless and until you complete that, you cannot go, like, unless you complete your 10th standard with good marks, you will not be able to go to 11th standard. And unless until you get a very good marks, if you want to become a IITian, unless and until you score very good marks in 12th standard and IIT entrance, it is not possible for you to enter into IIT. So similarly, medical. So getting good marks in NEET or JEE, that is your one of the short-term goal, so that you are allowed to move to the next step of entering into a medical or a IIT. And after IIT or medical, then your career starts. So your long-term goal is not going to medical and IIT. Your long-term goal is, what do you want to become? You want to become like a Sundar Pichai, CEO of a Google company? That is going to be your long-term goal. Okay, so the long-term goal should not be mixed with or confused with short-term goals. The time to plan is now. After you prioritize the plans, prioritize the goals, every goal has to be analyzed with a lot of alternatives, different options, and each option, the effectiveness of each option with respect to my strength. When I say strength, it is my characteristics, it is my traits, it's my behavior, it's my financial status, it's my societal position, it's my parental support. Everything comes as my strength. I have to work on my strength instead of working on my weakness. Okay, I have to work on my strength instead of working on my weakness. As long as I'm working on my strength, I'm sure my plans are going to be very, very thorough, and my plans will be able to be successful. So once we are able to plan it, then get into action. And when we are getting into action, one thing is very, very important in life, that we will not be able to sustain our life alone. We will not be able to become successful in life alone. There are going to be some people who are going to give their hands for us to climb up in our career, in our life, in every goal. So we need to look at people who are there in that particular position. You have to network. You have to create a very good network who can support you in your growth. Suppose I want to become CEO of a company, but if my network is today is only with local dadas, can I become a CEO? Certainly no. But if my goal itself is to become a dada, I can have a community of dadas, so that I become a very big dada. But if I want to become a CEO, my networking should also be with the same kind of people who are into the business, who are CEOs of a company. So how to create that network, how to get that kind of support, a community support. That one will leave, that kind of relationship building, that kind of network building will help us to persevere our goals, and our actions will be constantly monitored. There'll be somebody accountable for our growth. When you have a community, somebody will be monitoring you whether you are growing as per your wish or not. Can you openly announce that I'm going to become a CEO after 10 years? Can you openly announce I'm going to become a dean of my college after 10 years? Yeah, people may feel bad today. It doesn't matter. Do we have the guts to announce? If I have a goal, a strong goal in my mind, I should not hesitate to announce to the world, so that there will be people who will be supporting me to achieve my goal. Always there will be people who will be pulling down my legs, but doesn't matter. As I told you, as long as you are looking at your positive side and you already analyzed your resistances, what are those resistances? Who are all the people who are going to pull your legs down? But as long as you are clear on your decision making process, and as long as you are working on your strength areas, not the weakness areas, I'm sure, my dear friends, the decisions whatever you take with this kind of clarity will lead you to success. So that's all from my side. Thank you very much for patient listening. I'm sure this particular session would have given you some insight on how you can create clarity in all the decision making processes. Probably if some of you are interested in learning more about the techniques and tools which can be used in each of the steps, you can approach me later part, so that we can have a fruitful discussion. Thank you very much. Thank you, Professor Venkatraman, for giving me this opportunity.
Jai Shri Krishna. Thank you, sir, for your wonderful presentation. And I'm sure you have take the right decision for attending this session.